Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Scraptember and 30 days of sketches combined. Today we are using this awesome sketch, and I really don't know who it's from, but I really like it. It's kind of cool. It's on the diagonal, and I don't usually do a lot of things on the diagonal. And I'm incorporating a bunch of mixed media into this because the photos that I'm using just kind of called for it. So our prompt today for Scraptember is black and white. And while I am not really using black and white items on my layout, I did make my photos black and white. So I kind of just changed it up. I don't know that there was like an actual, you have to make your layout have black and white or your photos need to be black and white or whatever. But I chose to make my photos black and white, and I really like how it came out. And so you're going to see those in just a few moments. And I'm going with this diagonal kind of look here, and I'm using some shimmers products to just ink up my background. I kind of want this watery effect because I am documenting a water fight between me and Noah. The three photos are of him playing in a sandbox with the hose, and he's got the spray nozzle, and he asked me, you don't see me in the photos, but he had asked me to come and sit near him while he was playing, and then he got the bright idea that he could spray me. And so he was playing in my mom's front yard in my niece's little girl's sandbox that was there. And so he had their hose, and I went to my house, which is next door, and I grabbed my hose from my front yard, and we both have these like 75-foot long hoses. And so we were spraying each other back and forth from yard to yard. And he thought it was really funny. Of course, you know, he wasn't upset at all. If he was, I wouldn't have done it. But he was like, "Grandma, come and get me. Come get me. Can you get me?" And so every time I'd come near him, then he would spray me. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. It was a hot day, so it worked out really well. And so what happened here is I'm playing with those two cut files. Those are from Annette's Designs. And they're actually called lacy border, but to me they looked like waves or like water flowing, and so that's why I chose to use them. And then the shimmers that I'm using the lighter color is Blue Lagoon, the darker color is Lapis Dance, and I really like how it comes out. It's kind of a soft watery feel to it, not really bold, but I really like that. And you saw me cut the bottom off of that cut file. It does come as like a border on a page or something like that. And I just freehand fussy cut around the bottom piece because I didn't want that solid white edge along the bottom. And then I am flipping them back to back so that it looks like, you know, water would be shooting out of a hose. And there's the three photos. The three photos are black and white, but in each photo there is an element that is colored. So in the first photo, it's just the nozzle of the hose. The second one, it is the nozzle of the hose and the hose itself. And I believe in the third one, he is colored as well, but the rest of the background is not colored. So you'll see that a little closer up in a moment. I have a stack of that Heidi Swap paper that's in the background there. I bought it on a sale at a local store here, and it was super cheap, but it has that navy blue border that I really love. So that's pretty much all I use that paper for. I will be sad once I run out of it, but for now it works. So the problem that I had when I was working on this, you saw me go back in and do a little bit more mixed media, was everything is too diagonal. Like that is too diagonal for me. So in order to kind of make it so it's less diagonal, I am going to go back in and do a little bit more of the mixed media to kind of bring that right hand side down a little lower and the left hand side up a little higher. And I like how it turns out. It works out just fine. But if I had thought about that a bit in advance, I probably would have lined it up a little bit better. But for whatever reason, I didn't. And so my diagonal was pretty much diagonal across the page, which is not exactly how the sketch is. And it makes for interesting viewing when you have to tilt your head to look at those photos and everything else that's on the page. So a little bit less of an angle works much better. So I was pretty happy with how that came out once I got it all corrected. And then, so here I am, I'm just trying to figure out how I want these two cut files to line up and how much of it I want to peek out from behind the photos. So I am going to split them a little bit on the left-hand side, so there will be a gap between the two, but you're not going to see that because the photographs cover that up. I do want that left-hand photograph coming off of the page, so I need to have it over far enough that I can trim the edge of it off. And so I think I'm just going to go ahead and glue down the cut files and leave about an inch gap between the two all the way to the left-hand side, but I want them kind of next to each other on the right-hand side because you do see that edge. And so here I am just kind of messing around with the distance that I need to leave between the two before I actually glue down the second one. And I am happy with the way that it turns out once it's all done. And I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It is my favorite glue for cut files. It's my favorite liquid glue for most anything. It dries clear, it dries matte, and the nozzle is super fine on it, so you can really see what you're, or you can really get into the nooks and crannies, and you can, you're not cutting or gluing off of the edge of the cut file because it is really fine. So you don't have a lot of mess and waste of it like squishing out from behind the cut file for the most part. It also doesn't clog super easily if you leave it on its side when it's open. So in the case that it does clog, I just pop the nozzle out and go run it under some warm water and make sure you tap it out really well and put the nozzle back on and you're set and ready to go. Sometimes the glue is a little thinner when it first comes out after doing that, so you might want to do a little test squeeze to make sure there's no added moisture from being run under the water of the faucet. So then I'm going to just pull out my thickers, and I have these ones. My title is going to be Awesome Water Fight. Originally I thought it was going to be Epic Water Fight, but I had already used my Epic acrylic, so I pulled out the one that says Awesome. And I really like how it looks. It's very subtle. We are actually not to the monochromatic day. Spoiler alert, there is a monochromatic day, but for some reason I'm going monochromatic and I'm just sticking with the blues. I really like how it looks. The hat that he's wearing is blue and his shorts are blue, and there's not any other color in the photos to pull off of because it's all black and white. The hose is green, but there's very, very limited amount of green because the hose is so small in there. But I do like how it's looking. And I did go with different fonts because I didn't have any E's in that bottom font that is there where it says Fight. Otherwise, I probably would have done all of it in that smaller font. And I didn't want it all in the large font because it was just too overpowering. So I just decided to split it up and go with 3 different fonts, and I like how it turns out. So that makes me happy. While I glue that down, I'll remind you to go check out everyone else who is playing along with Scraptember and with 30 Days of Sketches. Some people are doing both. Some people are doing one or the other. Some people are playing along all month. Some people are just playing along when they can. So the links are down in my description box. But for sure, we have Laura Alberts, the Scrappy Sisters, Christy Harriman. They are all playing along on their channels all month long because they are the organizers of this hop. So I'm very thankful for them and for all the work that they have put in to coordinate this. It's really super exciting and a lot of fun. Gives you different ways to kind of stretch yourself. So go check it out. There are tons of people playing along, and you will not be sorry that you took the time to do it. I guarantee it. Lots of inspiration out there. So I'm adding some tags and some tickets. I have this little crocheted heart I have not used on anything, but I think this is the perfect place for it since it is that navy blue color, and being a monochromatic layout, it works really well. And I am just using my little tiny scissors to trim off that edge. Normally I use my big scissors to trim off the edge, but because I already have the background paper glued down, I needed to get between the 2 layers of photos or of papers. And so that's why I decided to use my little tiny scissors. I am going to bring in this frame. I believe it's from Pink Fresh Studio. It's super old, been in my stash for a long time. I'm just going to pop it up there on the right hand side. I like how that's looking. In the sketch there's a star. There are some vertical layers as well, but I'm kind of ignoring those vertical layers just because I didn't really have anything that I wanted in there. So I am just building up with labels and tickets and tags and stuff like that instead. That is a little bit more my style, although, I'm not opposed to trying different styles. So what is really interesting is I'm using this bow, which I don't usually use bows on layouts, but, it's blue and it works, and I like it on that little frame. It looks like it's tied around there, even though it's just a sticker, so that makes me kind of happy. And then the other piece of the frame I'm just using over here by this heart, just to add some additional layering and visual interest. So I'm pretty happy with the way that that turned out. I will end up using some glue dots to hold down that crocheted heart. And I did just add a little bit of foam to that piece that you just saw me put down. And then I did decide I needed a little bit of ink on a couple of these. I'm just using, I believe I'm using Blue Jeans oxide ink to just kind of give a little bit of definition to some of these pieces, because they blend like super well into the background. So I kind of should have done that beforehand, but in the event that I didn't, I just pull out a little piece of paper, tuck it in as close as possible, and ink as much as I can. And so those frames got a little bit more ink just to give them a little bit more oomph so that you can see them. And then I'm going to kind of finish it off. I have this Goosebumps spray, and it basically looks like water when it dries. And so I'm sprinkling that over the layout, and it's coming off in like kind of like splatter wood. And you'll see those a little bit here. I pull it out really slowly so you can kind of see. Yeah, you can see the little dots there, so you can see that it looks like it's wet, and it will dry looking just like that. So, and then you get a good close-up of the photos too. So I really like how that turned out. And then I'm going to finish the whole thing off with some enamel dots. And I get these from Gina Marie Designs. They are really inexpensive, like $2.25 a pack. You get a whole bunch of them for that price. And she has loads and loads of choices and options and colors. So just Google Gina Marie Designs if you're interested in that. Here are the close-ups. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for spending time with me today, and come back tomorrow. I'll have another video each day this month, and don't forget to check out the people in the links down below in my description box. If you have questions or comments, leave those down below and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. It's not always the same day or the next day, but it is eventually. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.